Hey Armin, I'm gonna look over this unit real quick with you. So you had simple interest that I'm assuming you understood. So here, what is happening is each month you multiply the $100 times 1% to get the amount of interest earned. So the first month you get a dollar, the second month you get a dollar all the way through, and that's what happens with simple interest. Compound interest is a little different, and what happens here is so I clicked on this show the suggested answer part here to show you everything here. What happens is the first month is the same. So you take the $100 and you multiply it by 1% to get a dollar. But now what ends up happening is you take this dollar and you put it into the bank. So now you're going to get interest on the interest. So instead of having $100, you have 100 and the interest $101. So now this is where it gets tricky. Now, when I calculate the interest for the next month, it's not just on the $100, but it's on the $101. So now I take this and I multiply this by 1%, and I get 101. And this 101 now is added to this 10. So the 101 is added to the $1.01. So let's not get confused here. 101, $1.01 plus $101 is now this $102.01. Okay, so you go this plus this is that. So you keep doing that. Now you multiply this by 1% to get this. Add these together to get the new total. Now once you have this, you multiply this 1% to get this. And you keep adding them and keep compounding and compounding the interest until you end up with a number that's like this, 111.56. Okay, so that's how compound interest works. Actually, no, that's not true. You would then at the very end add the 111 plus the 111.56 to get the $1.11 plus the 111.56 to get the final answer. So that's how that works. So it grows and it grows and it grows. So again, what you're doing is you're adding this onto the previous total and then multiplying the new total by 1% to get the new interest, and then it keeps going and going and going. The formula itself, when you want to do a formula, you're going to be using this formula here, which is A equals P plus 1 plus I over N, and then this is N times T over here as the exponent. So the T is going to be a little confusing for you. What happens is, the N, is you have to pay attention to the compounding factor. So is it compounding monthly or yearly or weekly or et cetera? So these are all the different possible values for N. Annually means once a year. Semi-annually means 2 times a year, and you can keep reading this here to find out what everything means here. And what you have to do is you divide the interest rate by this amount, okay, whatever this is, compounding factor, but then you have to multiply the time by that amount. So what that really means is, let's say in 10 years, you had a situation where you put money away at the bank, and it's for 10 years, but it compounds semi-annually, so just twice a year. So what that means is so I'll show you. Let me just show you something. See if I can get this open for you down here. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second there. That's not what I wanted, but that's fine. Okay, so what this means is if you have something, and let's just say you have $1,000 in the bank, okay, and you get interest, and you're going to do it, and we'll just say you have it in the bank for 2 years, okay? So what happens is after 1 year, you get, and we'll say it's 6% interest, okay? So you got $1,000 and you get 6% interest. So after 1 year, this is after 1 year, this is after 2 years. After 1 year, you're going to get 6% interest. You're going to figure out what that is, okay? And then after the second year, you're going to get 6% interest on that also, okay? But it's going to compound, so you're going to get interest on the interest. So this would actually be $60. So what happens is this turns into 1,060, and then you multiply that by 6% to get your new total, okay? So whatever that is. So that's normal interest, okay? That's annual. But if you do something like, let's say, semi-annual, where it happens 2 times a month, 2 times a year, sorry. So this is semi-annual. So where did I get this from? It's on that chart, right? So monthly would be 12 times a year, weekly 52 times a year, etc. So semi-annually would be twice a year. What that means is you get interest more often. You get it twice a year. So not just once a year, but twice a year. Okay, so it compounds and it compounds again, it compounds and it compounds again. So in this case, you're going to get 2 years times 2, because that's what the semi-annually means. You're going to get 4 compounding periods. And that's nice, and that's cool, and you can probably handle that. But what gets confusing is this. The bank's not going to give you 6% every 6 months, though. Okay, you're getting 6% earlier. So now you have to ask yourself, okay, I'm not going to get the same amount compounded twice as often. So you probably are going to say, yeah, well, if I'm going to get 6% once a year, then I'll probably get, well, actually, let's figure it out. 6%, 0.06 divided by 2 is 3%. Okay, I'm sure you can do that. So now I'm going to get 3% every 6 months. Okay. And then when you look at that and you go, wow, okay, that makes sense. Okay. And you try to do the math on that, it's really hard to do without a formula. So what you would do in this case is what you would have is you take your formula, right? And what you do is you go, it's P times 1 plus I over N times T times N, or N times T. So that's a lot going on there, right? But what that means is you're going to take your principal amount, which is $1,000, okay, and then you're going to add 1. Okay, 1. I'll tell you what the 1 does. 1 means give me my money back. Okay, every year I get my $1,000, and then this part is going to give me the interest amount. Okay, so this is I. This is the letter I over N. Okay, so here we had 0.06 over 2 because 2 is semi-annually. And now this was 2 years times 2 because, again, semi-annually. So this is the compounding factor, okay? So if this was a monthly question now, let's just do the math, the changes real quick. Let's say it was a monthly compounding situation. What you would do is now this compounding factor is 12. So this becomes 12 and 12, okay? So this takes a little bit of work on your calculator, okay? But once you get used to doing this, if you put bracket 1 plus and then put 0.06 divided by 12, close bracket to the power of 2 times 12, you should be able to just put this in your calculator and get the answer. Okay, so that's how the formula works. Hopefully this video made sense. If you have any more questions, send me another email. Okay, buddy, take it easy.